Alright, guys, welcome back to Gaming Compute. Over here talking more about how to identify a niche, as well as, starting to talk about more details about the research. So, one thing that helps, instead of just, randomly picking a niche and just randomly starting to try to make sales with something, it's not that it isn't possible to do things that way. It's just, best practices, you want to treat everything kind of like a research project. So in research, I come from research. That's what I studied most of the time in college, and in grad school, and stumbled my way into clinical psychology. But originally I was studying social science, research, and through the field of psychology, cognitive science. Very similar overlap as far as the strategies that you use for marketing research. Overall, the idea is the same, right? Like you kind of, either based on questions or observation, you think, hey, this might be a pretty interesting field, or pretty interesting type of category to try to make some money off of. And instead of going through journal articles and reading the research and reviewing literature, what you're going to do is you're going to need to have some source of, proof behind why you're choosing your specific categories and niche. So a lot of people use Google Trends. A lot of people use, their own expertise and what they know people are interested in. Because I've been in the field of psychology, I know certain topics that people really like. I've noticed usually when it comes to topics about social life, abuse, coping with abuse, and finances as it pertains to stress levels and anxiety and things like that, those are pretty popular topics. So anything that, if I really wanted to go in that broad direction and try to find a problem solving type of product to sell, or to create and sell, like a book, a self-help book, some type of product, that could be either a digital product or an actual physical product, or service, like a community group type of Zoom meeting. I've actually joined those. I think it was back in June. There's a creator that I follow called Jamie Messina, and she wrote a book. It has 30 days of work. It's like a workbook you do in 30 days, and every day is just one page where you kind of answer the same questions, and it has a prompt, and you kind of just read the page and then write your answers. It's like a daily check-in for morning and evening kind of thing. And then basically, I really liked that book. And then from there, she did this kind of boot camp for 2 weeks, I think it was, but it was only on business days, so it ended up being 5 days. And then it was through Facebook, and you have either access to the lives or the archived version, and it was very affordable. It was I don't remember if it was like $35 or $15 or something like that. And there weren't too many of us in that boot camp, but it was a service that was helpful. Um, and it was a small group of people that everyone was there because they were trying to work on something like personal development, self-improvement, things like that. And so it was really good. It was, it served its purpose. It helped stay motivated and kind of more intentional and focused throughout the day at like what might be going on, and just kind of like not letting things slide, just because you have that bit of accountability to tune in every day and listen to like the little video. And then I think a couple times, like once a week, let's call it Tuesdays at 6 p.m. or something, she did like a lengthier like live where people could be there, kind of check in about what they're working on and stuff like that. And then she would kind of like give some kind of like coaching advice. So something like that, if you have an expertise, you can find a way to kind of like sell your own services. Now it does take a lot of work, and there is marketing involved, and if you don't already have a following, it would take a while to get some of that stuff done. But some people, when it comes to online sales, they are able to do quick, kind of like fast selling. Now, if you don't have any money for ads, or if you don't have any kind of social media backing, it might be a little bit hard. But we're not talking about that yet. I guess I'm getting a little off topic. So when you're trying to like find the kind of like niche of where you want to go with what you want to sell, it is best to do at least some research. So Google Trends helps. If you're on Etsy, there's eRank, there's what's that one called? Everbee.io. Those are just a few places to look. I mean, you can look if you're really good at like reading statistical information. Say if you're selling a product, you can look on Amazon, see what's being sold, and see how many sales have gone through, and you can kind of calculate how much they're making. Now, I think Amazon takes a really huge percentage. You can check on sites like AliExpress. Now, I almost don't even want to say AliExpress, just because the shipping times are long. It can screw up your site. If you're with Shopify, you can have some issues with PayPal holds. You can have some issues with Shopify holds if like more than half of your products are being sourced from another country. Or I don't even know if that's exactly what the details are. There might be some other details I'm missing there, as to what is going to be more likely to get you kind of like banned. Some products you got to think about, what are you going to do for the ads? If you need Instagram and you already have too many Instagram accounts, you might not be able to open a new one. TikTok might be challenging depending what you're trying to sell. As far as like promotion with ads, I mean, we're going to talk about all this later. But I would say that's a good starting place, looking for goods in those places. What you want to do is track the market on certain products and make sure it's not something that's too saturated, right? If you're doing something that's so easy that everybody's AI generated their own version and duplicate versions and just cranking out these like e-commerce sites of like, I don't know, something simple like a 30-day calendar or like a weekly planner or something that's nothing special, something that might be way oversaturated, you might get a little bitten by that. Because there might, like, something that sometimes has like such a low barrier to entry might be so hard to sell, because who's going to find you? It's like a needle in a haystack. It's like there's too much of the same thing. Your chances of actually ranking on on Google, on getting traffic to your social media, if you're going that route, trying to build an audience or whatever method you're using, it's going to be a little bit hard sometimes, kind of just depending. But you want to think about that. You don't want something that's so saturated, but you don't want something that's so niche that nobody knows it exists. Like, I think a lot of us have these hobbies where it's like, I like this one specific thing that like nobody else knows what the heck I'm talking about. You might really know a lot about something and be able to kind of write up a site about it, but if nobody else out there cares about the same things you care about, it's going to be really hard to find an angle to kind of get people interested if they're already not interested. Some things are seasonal, some things are holiday, some things are just based on current events, current news, movies. I know for a while the Barbie stuff was really popular, but that gets oversaturated. You want to pay attention to like copyrights and like logo rights and things like that. If you are trying to sell like t-shirts based on a brand or something, you can't really make Barbie branded shirts or like Nike branded shirts or something like that, where it's like almost like counterfeit. Like, you can't really do things like that. And then if you want to go the services route, you would do something like Upwork or Fiverr, offering your services. Fiverr's a little bit easy, to figure out the categories that are the best. All you really have to do is go to pretty much every category and try to sort for the people who have the most sales. What you want to do is see what they're pricing their product at, what their reviews are like, how long they've been doing their whatever it is that they're doing, how long they've been like providing their service. So say if it's like web design, I'm just making up these numbers. Say if web design, all of a sudden people want AI generated website banners or something, and you notice that there's a good market for it, but it's not too saturated. You might be able to, I'm just making this up. I haven't done the research on this. I'm just making it up. Say if you find that there are 3 people on there who have been on there since 2021 and making 6 figures, if maybe making about $100,000 a year, you can see the reviews per month. That kind of gives you an idea of about how many people they served every month, making these banners. So you might be able to see, okay, every month they're getting like 8-10 orders, and if each banner is like $100, you might be making $1,000 to $800 to $1,000 a month. That's not really a lot of money, right, when you think about it. And so that wouldn't add up to 6 figures, but I'm just saying, like, if you found something that you can kind of do the math on it and see like how much have they sold, what's the lowest price. So say if they're selling something at $100 and they've made 1,000 sales, then that means that they've made sorry, I lost my train of thought. That means that they've made like $100,000 off of 1,000 sales. And if that 1,000 sales was over 2 years, that means 500 per year and approximately 41 banners they're making per month to make like $4,100 a month. Now that's good money, especially if it's an easy task. The hard thing is about these types of gigs or stores is things change over time. So to me, that's one thing that scares me is like, yeah, just because it was possible to find a winning product or like a winning service or something that's marketable, you may be able to find something that's marketable, but it's going to be hard to kind of do it. Sometimes it's just hard to keep on doing it because, the rates might change, AI might take it over, it might just become like something with the market might change. There's software coming out all the time. Like, whatever you're doing, might become obsolete pretty quickly, or, it might not be worth as much if you're selling like, especially if it's like a type of like electronic sort of product. Sometimes it's like, okay, like this is the old version now. Like how many years can you keep selling the same thing? Some things aren't evergreen, some things are, so it's kind of hard to really know that. But that would be probably what I would say might be one of the next steps, is kind of trying to figure out what the numbers look like. You want to know, before you start choosing a niche and then looking at competitors, you want to kind of go that route and try to figure out where are we even going. Like if you're just open-minded about it and you're not like an artist or like a jewelry maker or someone who already has a craft and you're trying to like sell your homemade products, if it's not something homemade already, there might be a difference there. So that's one option of the next route to take, is trying to figure out, using some type of research, where you want to go, what is kind of getting sales, and then you go into kind of, once you choose your niche, you want to kind of look at competitors and kind of see what they've got going on, and we'll talk about that next.